Welcome back to Money Mastery Now, the channel that helps you take control of your money, one smart habit at a time. If you want to master your budget, crush debt, and build lasting wealth, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Let's talk about a feeling. It's a feeling that's becoming more and more common, but one that people are often ashamed to talk about. It's the feeling of being completely and totally overwhelmed by your money. It's when you look at your financial life, and it feels like a giant, tangled knot of yarn. You see bills, debts, and expenses all twisted together, and you have absolutely no idea where to even begin to pull on a thread. You hear all the advice out there. People on the internet are screaming at you from every direction. You hear? You need a detailed, line item budget in a spreadsheet. You hear? You need to pay off your debt using the avalanche method. Someone else says, no, you have to use the snowball method. Then you see another video that says, you're a fool if you're not investing in the stock market. It's a constant storm of shoulds and musts. The noise is so loud. The advice is so conflicting, and your own situation feels so chaotic that you end up doing the one thing that feels safest in the moment. Nothing at all. This is financial paralysis. It's a very real state of being so stressed, so anxious, and so overwhelmed that taking any step at all feels impossible. You feel like you're frozen, stuck in place while the financial storm rages around you. If this sounds even remotely like what you are feeling right now, then this video is for you. This is your lifeline. We are going to hit the reset button on your entire financial life. We are going to introduce a temporary, incredibly simple system that I call the bare minimum budget. I want to be very clear about what this is. This is not a long-term, complicated financial plan for building wealth. This is not about optimizing your investments or saving for a fancy vacation. Think of this as a temporary emergency shelter in the middle of a financial hurricane. Its only job is to protect you, to give you clarity, to give you control over the things that matter most, and to give you the breathing room you need to finally think clearly again. So, who is this method for? This method is perfect for you if you've just lost your job or had your income significantly reduced. It's for you if you are facing a big, unexpected expense that has thrown your life into chaos. And it's for you if you are simply so deep in debt and confusion that you have absolutely no idea where to begin. This is your starting line. It is not a permanent lifestyle. It is a short-term strategy designed for one thing: survival and stabilization. The goal is to use this simple tool to get stable, and then to graduate to a more comprehensive, long-term plan when you are ready. So, why does this extreme simplification work so well when you're overwhelmed? Why is focusing on the bare minimum so effective when all the other complicated budgets have failed you? There are a few powerful psychological reasons. The first reason is that it drastically reduces decision fatigue. Think about your brain's capacity to make good decisions like your phone's battery. Every single day, you are forced to make hundreds of decisions, both big and small. What should I wear today? What should I eat for breakfast? How should I respond to this email from my boss? Should I pay this bill now or later? Which bill is more important? Can I afford to buy this? Every one of these questions drains a little bit of your mental energy. When you are under intense financial stress, it's like starting your day with your phone battery already at 20%. You have very little decision-making power left. A traditional budget, with its dozens of categories and constant tracking, asks you to make hundreds more decisions every month. It's completely exhausting, and it's why it feels impossible. The bare minimum budget is powerful because it's like putting your phone into ultra power saving mode. It shuts down all the non-essential background apps. It reduces those hundreds of financial decisions down to just four simple things to focus on. This frees up an incredible amount of mental and emotional energy, which is a resource you desperately need when you are in a crisis. The second reason this works is that it provides immediate clarity and a sense of control. When your financial life feels like a giant, chaotic mess, your brain craves order and control. You look at a pile of bills, and you don't even know which one to pay first. It all feels urgent and scary. This is the feeling of being out of control, and it's a primary driver of anxiety. The bare minimum budget cuts through that chaos like a knife. It gives you a crystal clear, four-item priority list. It answers the single most important question you can ask yourself in a financial crisis. What do I absolutely must pay to keep my life and my family safe? By focusing only on these absolute essentials, you regain a sense of agency. You can look at your plan and say, okay, the world might be chaotic, but I know that no matter what else happens this month, I have a roof over my head and food on the table. This feeling of control, even over a small part of your life, is the first step out of the panic and toward rational thinking. And the third reason this approach is so powerful is that it's a powerful diagnostic tool. The process of building your bare minimum budget gives you one of the most important numbers in all of personal finance, your true cost of survival. When you finish this exercise, you will have a single dollar amount. That number is the absolute minimum amount of money you need to make each month to stay afloat. This number becomes your North Star. It gives you a clear, unambiguous target. It helps you understand the true severity of your situation. If your income is below that number, you have an income problem that needs to be addressed immediately. If your income is above that number, you know exactly how much surplus you have to work with to start digging yourself out of the hole. Knowing this number with certainty is a source of incredible power. Okay, let's get practical. Let's build your bare minimum budget right now. The entire concept is built on an idea that was popularized by the financial expert Dave Ramsey, and he calls it the four walls. These are the four essential pillars that you must protect at all costs. They are the things that hold up your life. Your only job right now is to figure out the monthly cost of these four things. I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen, and we're going to do this together. Wall number one is food. This is the most basic human need. But for the purpose of this bare bones, crisis mode budget, we need to be very, very specific about what food means. Food means groceries that you buy at a store to cook meals at home. It does not mean restaurants. It does not mean ordering a pizza. It does not mean getting delivery from DoorDash or Uber Eats. It does not mean grabbing your daily coffee from Starbucks. Those are luxuries. And right now, we are focused purely on survival. Food means going to a budget-friendly grocery store, like an Aldi, a Walmart, or a local discount grocer. It means buying simple, staple ingredients like rice, beans, pasta, eggs, bread, and seasonal fruits and vegetables. It means planning your meals for the week to avoid waste. To figure out this number, look at your past bank or credit card statements. See how much you typically spend on groceries only. Be honest with yourself. If that number seems too high, challenge yourself to reduce it by 10 or 20% for this temporary phase. Come up with a realistic number for your monthly grocery bill. Write that number down on your paper. That's the first wall. Wall number two is utilities. These are the essential services that keep your shelter functioning and safe. This category includes your electricity bill, your water bill, your natural gas or heating oil bill, and your trash service. These are the basics that keep the lights on, the water running, and your home livable. Once again, we have to be very specific about what is not included in this category during our bare minimum phase. Utilities do not include your cable TV package. They do not include Netflix, Hulu, Max, Disney Plus, or any other streaming service. For this short period, entertainment is a luxury. Utilities also do not include your high-speed internet bill if a cheaper, slower plan is available from your provider, or if you can temporarily get by using your phone's hotspot for essential tasks like applying for jobs. The goal here is not to live like this forever. The goal is to trim everything down to the absolute essentials for a short period. Go through your past bills. Add up the costs for only the essential utilities, and write that total number down on your paper. That's the second wall. Wall number three is shelter, or housing. This is usually the largest and most important wall to protect. This category is simple. It is your rent payment or your mortgage payment. This is the non-negotiable cost of keeping a roof over your head. If you are a homeowner, this category also includes two other required expenses: your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. These are often paid as part of your monthly mortgage payment through an escrow account, but if you pay them separately, be sure to include the monthly portion of those costs here. What's not included? Anything else related to your house? This is not the time to think about redecorating, buying new furniture, or doing non-essential home repairs. The only goal is to make the payment that keeps you in your home. Look at your rent agreement or your mortgage statement. Find that number and write it down. That's the third wall. Wall number 4 is transportation. The final wall is essential for most of us to be able to work and live. But again, we must define it narrowly. For this bare minimum phase, transportation means basic, essential transportation to get you to your job, to take your kids to school, and to go to the grocery store. This means your monthly fuel costs or gas. Look at your past spending to get a realistic estimate. It also includes any essential, basic maintenance required to keep your car running safely, like an oil change. If you rely on public transit, then this category is simply the cost of your monthly bus or train pass. What is not included in this category? It does not include Uber or Lyft rides that are for convenience, not necessity. It does not include saving up for a new car. It does not include weekend road trips for fun. If you currently have a car payment, you must continue to pay it to keep your vehicle. So you should include that car payment in this category. The goal is to calculate the bare minimum cost required to stay mobile for your essential life activities. Add up these costs and write the final number down. Okay. Take a deep breath. You should now have a piece of paper with 4 categories and 4 numbers written on them. Add those 4 numbers together. That total is your 4 walls number. That is your survival number. Now, I know the next question. What about everything else? What about my credit card bills? My student loans? My personal loans? That gym membership I forgot to cancel? My kids' soccer lessons? This is where the bare minimum budget requires a temporary but radical action. During this crisis mode phase, everything else that is not one of those 4 walls gets put on pause. I want you to imagine a giant pause button in your financial life. You are pressing that button on every non-essential outflow of money. This means you will make only the absolute minimum required payment on all of your debts. Look at your credit card statement. It will tell you what the minimum payment is. That is all you pay for now. We are not trying to get ahead on the debt right now. We are just trying to stay current and protect our 4 walls. For federal student loans, you should immediately go to the Federal Student Aid website and look into your options for forbearance or an income-driven repayment plan. These are programs specifically designed for people experiencing financial hardship. You may be able to pause your payments or get your required payment lowered to $0 per month. Completely legally, this can free up a huge amount of cash in the short term. For everything else, the gym, the subscriptions you didn't cancel in the audit, the fun money, the clothing budget, the payment is 0. You are temporarily cutting off the flow of money to anything that is not food, utilities, shelter, or transportation. The goal is to stop the bleeding, to stop the outflow, so we can stabilize the patient. Now, you do the final, simple piece of math. Take your total monthly income and subtract your 4 walls total. This will leave you in one of 2 situations. Scenario number 1 is that you have a surplus. You have money left over after covering your absolute essentials. This is fantastic news. This means you have breathing room. It means you have extra cash that we can put to work. Scenario number 2 is that you have a deficit. This is a much more serious situation. This means your current income is not even enough to cover your 4 walls. This is a 5-alarm fire. It is a sign that you need to take immediate and massive action. This means you either have to find a way to drastically cut the cost of one of your 4 walls, which is very difficult and might mean things like getting a roommate or finding a cheaper place to live, or, more realistically, you need to immediately find ways to increase your income. This means getting a second job, starting a side hustle, selling things, and doing whatever it takes to get your income above your survival number. For the rest of our discussion, let's assume you are in scenario 1 and you have a surplus. What do you do with that leftover money? It has one job, and one job only. It has a single mission. Every extra dollar you have after paying for your four walls goes toward one goal: building your $1,000 starter emergency fund. Remember, the bare minimum budget is a temporary shelter. It is not a permanent home. It is a powerful tool to get you stable. But you don't want to live there forever. So, when and how do you graduate from this method and move on to the next phase of your financial journey? You can officially move on when two very specific things have happened. First, you have successfully saved your $1,000 starter emergency fund. That is your non-negotiable ticket out of crisis mode. Second, your income has stabilized. This means if you lost your job, you have now found a new one. If your income was cut, it has now returned to normal. Or, if your crisis was a big unexpected expense, it has now been dealt with. Once you have your $1,000 buffer and a stable income, you are no longer in survival mode. You are now in rebuilding mode. Graduating from the bare minimum budget doesn't mean you just go back to your old spending habits. That would land you right back in the same mess. Graduating means you are now stable enough to start building a real, sustainable, long-term financial plan. This is where you can start to use a method like the lazy budget or the permission budget that we've talked about in other videos. The process of graduating is a slow and intentional one. You will start to carefully and thoughtfully add back important spending categories. You will create a real plan to start paying off your debt, likely using a method like the debt snowball to build momentum. After your high-interest debt is gone, your next mission will be to continue adding to your emergency savings until that fund grows from $1,000 to a full 3 to 6 months' worth of your essential living expenses. That is your ultimate shield against life's uncertainties. And only after all of that is done do you start to focus on long-term investing for wealth building. The bare minimum budget was the solid, concrete foundation. Now, with stability and clarity, you finally get to start building the house. So let's bring this all home. When your life is chaotic, when you feel completely overwhelmed by your finances, the single most powerful and intelligent thing you can do is to simplify. The bare minimum budget is the ultimate form of financial simplification. It's a tool that helps you ignore the thousands of things that are screaming for your attention and focus only on the 4 things that truly matter for your survival. It allows you to build a small, stable patch of ground in the middle of a hurricane, so you can finally get your footing and stop being tossed around by the storm. I want you to understand that choosing to use a bare minimum budget is not a sign of failure. It is not a sign that you are bad with money. It is a sign of incredible strength. It is a strategic, powerful, and intelligent first step toward taking back control of your life. It is you acknowledging the reality of your situation and making a conscious decision to build from a place of stability. It is your starting line for a brand new financial life. You do not have to have everything figured out right now. You just have to take the first step. You just have to focus on building your 4 walls. That one action can break the cycle of stress and create the momentum you need to change your future. So, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Right now, what is one non-essential expense? Just one single thing that you can press pause on this month to help you secure your 4 walls and start building your safety net. Is it a streaming service you don't really use? Is it your habit of ordering lunch out instead of packing it? Is it your cable TV package? Let me know your first action step in the comments below. Let's make a public commitment together. If this video gave you a clear, manageable starting point and made you feel a little bit of hope, please give it a like and subscribe for more guidance on the next steps of your financial journey. You are not alone in this, and you absolutely can do this.